that's cool. I think we're live there. Believe we're live there. I think we're live here. Let's see if this is working. Trying like 3 different devices. I think it should work. And it looks like we're live on all of them, which is cool. So I'm trying to run a new series. And what I've done over the last probably couple months is really focus on adjusting some things around the business. Going through the world of video conferencing, there is, obviously a lot of competition that we had with Zoom. And I actually had a funny story where it was about 2 years ago. I was in Palm Springs, and I actually met Bill Gates. And when I met, oh, I see here. I can't go live. I'm trying a different thing. Okay. And so I actually met Bill Gates, and it was a really cool experience. I got to talk to him, and he had like this new phone that was coming out, and ran into him at an ice cream shop, if anything, of all places. And when we did that, I went up to him, and he was leaving, and I was like, Bill, can I get a picture? And he was very kind and generous and took a picture, and he had ice cream kind of going down his finger to take the picture. And it was a couple of years ago, so COVID was a pretty prominent thing, and at that time. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I have a video conferencing software. I know you're doing something similar. Didn't say a word. The next, I would say 3 weeks after that, this Zoom was already public. They're already growing. He ate Zoom's lunch and my lunch and everyone else's, because he was offering video conferencing for free for everyone who was already in the suite of Microsoft. And that was just like such an eye-opening thing. He just makes one instant decision and just kind of changes an entire industry, right? And overcoming a little cold here. And what I noticed with that was I was kind of blown away, because I've spent millions of dollars, lots of years building this product, and there was just this whole evolution of not moving fast enough. And that was due to being underfunded, right? And so, have a great portfolio of customers, have hundreds of customers using the platform. We're happy about it. But what we want to be doing looking forward is looking at the trend of what's actually happening in the software space, whether it's AI, coming out with, new innovative technologies, taking innovative technologies that are already there and making them just a little bit better. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so that's why we've kind of gone and built out a solution where we have actually over, I think it was like 12 different software products. And now these software products really leverage AI. And when we leverage AI, it helps us kind of get more exposure. It helps us put our feet to the ground to really understand what's out there. And we also noticed that there's a huge barrier to entry for people who want to not only who already have a established audience and they have an established customer base, but they have this idea, and they want to use that idea to go create software. And there's been really this big barrier to entry where people have to, you've got to hire developers, you've got to go, bring on, coders, you've got to have someone outline it, you've got to have a UI UX person, you've got to get that exposure there. And so with all of that, what I wanted to focus on over the next, 3 to 5 years is really eliminating that barrier to entry. And so giving the opportunity to put the software in the people's hands so then they can just focus on what they're doing best, right? Getting out there, getting more exposure, doing more marketing, doing more sales, doing more joint venture partnerships. And then we can help and work with those people on the back end and help them scale that up. Because again, we've spent millions of dollars in the product development and the software and the marketing space, competing against, Zoom, that their stock price, at the height of everything, I think was touching $600. I think it was like $559. Now they're around, I think, $60 last time I checked a couple days ago. So, obviously there's a huge shift going on there. And what I've heard from, the insiders at Zoom at this point is that they're trying to eat everyone's lunch. They're going for direct communications. They're going for Slack. They're going for WhatsApp. They're going for calendars. So they're either building or acquiring a lot of other companies at this point. And so that's kind of seeing kind of where the transition and all of that is going over the next few years. I see this major trend moving really into the AI realm. And so we actually have built something called not a finalized word, not the finalized name, but the whole concept around it is agency GPT, where you can actually take all of your intellectual property. So you can take your videos, your ebooks, your blogs, your any video transcripts. You can take, if you want to just do like an audio typing on Google Docs and take all of your intellectual property, all of your information, all of your knowledge, and make it and take that data, put it into your own software, where then you can create multiple different types of assets, and it can be used internally. So it can be used for marketing assets, email marketing campaigns, advertising campaigns. It can also be used, if let's say an influencer like Gary Vee, and you wanted to have like a Gary Vee GPT, for example, right? So you can take basically all of his content he's ever posted online, plug it into this database, and it wouldn't pull from any other outside sources like Barrett or GPT does, where they kind of scrape the web and fill in answers if they don't really have the right answers based on what they're scraping from the web. It's all actually coming directly from from that information of the video transcriptions and the books and everything that we've put into it, where it's your proprietary data. And that could be used to either license, that could be used again for internal training, it could be used for resales. So there's so much opportunity as far as where the future of AI is going. And if you look at the kind of the categories of where some of the Fortune 50, 500 companies are actually investing in, it's mainly focused around building their own database, so that's it's not all publicly available information, right? So if you look at like a Microsoft or an Oracle, they're heavily investing into this whole concept of taking all of the data that they have and making it really unique. So again, they can use it for their own internal reasons, their own internal, for their employees to go sell it. And that's really kind of the future of the web from what I'm seeing is, again, not having one source of information that again GPT that's kind of scraping the World Wide Web. It's having unique proprietary data, that unique proprietary information, and that can be used again for licensing and all this other stuff. And so when I'm thinking about the evolution of that, again, whether it's in the digital marketing space or if it's in the software space or if it's growing your own personal brand, there's so much going around that. And I was kind of put in a situation over the last couple months that I really had to figure out and navigate, because I had an agency. I had 15 people that were working full time within that agency, and we were kind of put in a situation where people were either overbilling, not collecting on their collectibles. They were dragging on projects, stealing, all of the fun stuff that you deal with within a company, right? And one of the things that I really wanted to push on the team as we were kind of growing and going through kind of these growth pains was leveraging AI to help maximize what you're doing. And the team gave us a lot of pushback because they feared that if AI was good enough, it was actually going to replace their job. And what I was really trying to emphasize for them is that it's not going to replace you, it's going to help you become 10 times more effective. And is from a human psychology standpoint, I'm seeing a lot of people push back on this and kind of hide and run away from it versus just understanding what's out there, right? And so there's thousands of tools that are getting released every single day. For me to actually keep up to date with what's going on, I go to toolify.ai, I believe is the name. And it's just a whole marketplace of new softwares that are getting released. It categorizes it based on the traffic, the kind of category. So there's kind of text to video based. There's some that are just kind of focused on marketing or for sales, or some are just for like kind of newsletters, and some are again just video based. Some are email marketing based. So again, there's kind of a wide range of all these tools that are getting released, and it's just so many. And the only way for me to really stay on top of it is just to kind of get in the weeds, look at these softwares, sign up for them, understand what's kind of innovative. And I actually talked to someone who was a data analyst at OpenAI, and he started his own software because he understood all the email, the cold email marketing changes that are being made. He understood what's going on in the in this AI kind of software space. So he left, started his own AI software, and I've been kind of going back and forth to come up with some interesting plans for the future as far as like kind of marketing and understanding how to get more exposure and help brands grow and scale from there. And I'm seeing a lot of people look at these big companies and find one unique, really small problem and build a solution around that and kind of just take it and run with it. And they've been able to grow and scale and leverage that. And so that's been a really great, unique, interesting experience from that side. So looking forward to 2024, where everything is moving, where I want to be focusing again a lot of my attention on is we've been building again a lot of different AI softwares, a lot of kind of proprietary softwares in this space, building really consolidated databases and helping again those people leverage their own knowledge and their own intellectual property so they can go license that out. And again, removing all of the barriers to entry that it would typically take for you to become a software owner and actually get reoccurring revenue, right? And that's kind of the big dream that people want, is they want to, one of my mentors says, like, hit the big FU button, where you don't have to say yes to a client and have to say yes to everything, because if you already have a good source of monthly or annual reoccurring revenue, and you're happy with where you're at, your bills are covered, you're very comfortable, then you can take on the projects and work with the people that you actually enjoy working with, versus feeling like you have to say yes to everything and everyone just so you can close your 30-day cash flow cycles. And I think that's kind of the big shift where I want to help businesses, is really get away from focusing on that 30 to 60-day cash flow cycle, and really focus on like the longevity of where you're trying to go in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, to help you kind of grow and scale and monetize your knowledge that you might be taking for granted, right? And it's like if you go on go online and you see whether it's on Twitter or LinkedIn, you take a very basic concept and someone posts about it, and that might be obvious to you. It's not obvious to everyone else, which is why that thing kind of went viral and it kind of grew. And that's something to really kind of consider, of like, how do we oversimplify things in the online space, in the marketing space? How can we take the knowledge and information that you might be taking for granted and really help you kind of expedite and manage the growth around that. So that's really the big idea, the big concept of where I'm going on that side, as far as helping you grow your audience, grow your reoccurring revenue, and again, just removing any of the barriers to entry to enter in the software space. There's so many people that are building no code softwares and launching like a Chrome extension, and that idea is great when you're talking about growing like that type of Chrome extension or something like that. But the problem is when you're doing that there's basically no barrier to entry, because a lot of other people can do that. And so that's why I think the name of this game is going to be data and the information that you have, so you can really take it and run with it, and have that type of financial freedom, so you can have that recurring revenue and focus on the bigger things, on the bigger projects, on the things that you've always wanted to, that you might have been pushed back in the past. So would love to get your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. In the comments and the threads here. Would love to, if you want to schedule some time and even learn a little bit more. I'd love to see what you're doing, and any ideas that you have around AI and the software space itself. Always fascinated. Just to get some concepts, because one of the things that I actually did was I spoke with a guy who oversees about 200 realtors, and I wanted to understand, like, what are the major problems in the real estate industry that they're experiencing. And at the end of the day, people wanted to help automate their follow-up. They wanted to figure out a way to become more personalized and build a relationship with those people. And they wanted to have a way to kind of streamline some of their social media presence, right? And we got on a call with 8 different realtors, and they all had, they were focused on kind of single family homes. Some were, one person was, in charge of the lead generation, and then the other people had their own kind of unique ways of approaching, how they communicate with their clients, the different touch points, the different values that they kind of bring to the table, whether it's helping them find a handyman or whatever that thing might be. And so we sat on the phone for like 45 minutes, and I was just kind of going through, their day-to-day process to really get in the weeds of like what's actually wrong, and if we could figure out a way to build a solution to buy your time back, what is that, what would that thing be? And again, it was around all the follow-up and things like that. And so now what we're doing is we are building a more of a custom AI solution specifically for the real estate industry, where basically everyone's going to have their own AI assistant, and that AI assistant is going to it's going to learn how each realtor communicates. It's going to look at all their texts. It's going to look at all their emails. So it's it's a way to really personalize your messaging and communication around that. And that is, I thought, a fascinating model that they wanted, that kind of came from this discovery process. And that discovery process can be used for any industry, right? And that's kind of why I would love to, get your feedback and thoughts in the comments here, just to see, because then we can kind of brainstorm and see what's out there. Maybe there's something that's already been built. I'm sure there has, right? And I can kind of help point you in that right direction there. So those are kind of my thoughts of where we're kind of moving, the direction that we're going. And again, I really appreciate everyone jumping on here. Would love to learn more about your business, where you're going. If if you're scared about where AI is moving, if you're excited for it, and again, use this time as an opportunity, because the people who don't take advantage of it over the next 5 years are the ones that are going to lose. If you learn what's going on right now, and you can just figure out a way to integrate it into your daily life, even if it's the small tasks that are repeatable that you don't like doing, and you figure out a way to use some sort of automation or AI tool to help streamline what you're doing. This is a way to help you become 100 times more effective on a day-to-day basis. And it will help you think a little bit more creatively. It will help you focus on the bigger things within the business. It will really help you kind of scale and grow beyond where you're at or where you want to be. So again, love to hear thoughts, comments. Appreciate everyone that's here. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I think I'm going to be doing some more of these lives. I've been a little bit more active on Twitter lately, kind of taking my lessons and life lessons, and kind of merging and talking a little bit more about what some of the journey and the stuff and case studies and all that cool stuff that I've been through. And I want to start moving that more into a live stream, and help kind of build a relationship with some of these people on all these platforms, and people like yourself. So again, thanks so much, and look forward to connecting and doing this again soon. Have a great one.